It is 4:45, 4:46 to be exact, here on Wednesday, November 27th. Welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset, and as always, this is where I bring you Baltimore sports and beyond. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Perhaps you're already on the road. Maybe you're mid-flight. I don't know. Maybe you're in the kitchen right now. Maybe you're at the fire pit. Whatever you're doing, thank you for being here. Like the video on your way in. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. And tonight is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. And again, a happy Thanksgiving from me and mine to you and yours. Here's what I have coming up over the course of the next hour. Encouraging Ravens news from an injury standpoint, both for Roquan Smith and Michael Pierce. The specifics of those two players coming up in just a bit. Derrick Henry stood on business in response to Khalil Mack. We all remember Khalil's comments after the Chargers loss, and that is the Chargers loss, not the Ravens loss, on Monday night in LA. Lamar Jackson gave a Derrick Henry admission, I thought, for the first time. I don't think he's spoken on that before. He also talked about the fourth down decision-making from John Harbaugh. NFC opponents, what he's had a lot of success against, only one loss, and that came to Daniel Jones' New York Giants. Of course, Daniel is now off the market and signing with the Minnesota Vikings on their practice squad. Yeah, all that and more is what I have coming up. Thank you for being here. Let's dive right in, because Roquan Smith, who missed Monday night in LA, was seen out on the practice field earlier today by beat reporters. And sure, Malik Harrison was the next man up, and he had a career night. An overall PFF grade of 81.5. That was 7th among linebackers. 8 defensive stops, which ranked 1st among linebackers, and 3 tackles for loss, which also ranked 1st among linebackers across the league in Week 12. He finished with 13 total tackles. The guy was a problem. He has his limitations, particularly when it comes to assignments in pass coverage, and he got caught in the wash once or twice against J.K. Dobbins that Troy Aikman highlighted on the ESPN broadcast. But to be a backup and to get called into action after Roquan Smith's pregame warm-up went in the direction that strength and conditioning staff, coaches, perhaps medical personnel within the organization all decided to keep Roquan inactive on Monday night. Yeah, with all that in mind, certainly an encouraging night from Malik Harrison. But going into Eagles week, you're obviously going to want your all-pro in the middle part of that defense. And Roquan took a step towards being available. He was at practice, as Luke Jones and many other beat reporters noted on X within the last couple hours this afternoon. They conducted a workout, did the Ravens, without helmets. Roquan and Sanusi Kane both returned. And Michael Pierce, after a month down on injured reserve, has been designated to return. His 21-day window is open, which is a key piece to Baltimore's rushing defense, of course. 3 players who were not seen at practice: outside linebacker Kyle Van Noy, tight end Charlie Kohler, who broke his arm, and Arthur Maulette, who continues to deal with that calf. As I look at this Eagles rushing attack with Saquon Barkley, the NFL's leading rusher, and the NFL's leading rushing team, they overtook the Ravens recently. You have the number 1 ranked rushing offense in the Philadelphia Eagles and the number 2 ranked rushing offense in the Baltimore Ravens squaring off on Sunday inside the bank. And from a Ravens defensive perspective, you better have Roquan and you better have Big MP as the run stuffer specialist nose tackle that he is for this defensive front, for this interior pass rush. And he is exactly that when healthy. And so this is a big Ravens injury update. Roquan was seen by beat reporters conducting a pregame workout on Monday night, as we've mentioned a couple times this week. And Jeff Zrebiec noted that it went 25 minutes, and it was an intense pregame workout, leading you to believe that Roquan was close to playing on Monday, but ultimately was held back. And maybe, just maybe, The Ravens felt good about their chances to win on Monday night and understood that Roquan's impact and Roquan's presence and his availability was more important in Week 13 against the team that's ripped off 7 straight wins, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles, who sit 9-2 atop the NFC East division. It's a race between them and the Washington Commanders. What I'm especially excited to see, if Roquan can go, is game 2 with the new personnel on the back end, because he looked like a different player through 3 quarters in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago. And it's no coincidence. Kyle Hamilton and Darius Washington have brought stability as the starting deep safeties on the back end of Zach Orr's secondary. Kyle continues to impact the game in a variety of ways, whether he's up at the line of scrimmage, where I love him, or on the back end. And Darius Washington, a former undrafted rookie, continues to earn his keep as a hard-hitting, undersized, physical DB. And for Roquan, in level 2, where at times this year he's looked a little slow, he's looked a little half step behind, the dependability and the reliability that's now back in play should open him up, should free him up, knowing that 14 and Darius Washington are behind him, giving him that kind of coverage that I'm sure he's so desperately needed with how in flux it's been. Marcus Williams, no longer a part of the equation, even though he's still on the team, unlike Eddie Jackson, who was waived after not making the trip to Pittsburgh. This all goes hand in hand. And I look forward to seeing Zero get back to what we've grown accustomed to seeing him play like, whether it's against the pass, against the run. We know that old school thumper mentality that he brings to the game, play in and play out, will absolutely be required down the stretch here if the Ravens want to win the AFC North. Baltimore is currently a half game out from Pittsburgh. And of course, you won't find a bigger game on the 425 slate or across the entire Week 13 slate than Philadelphia and Baltimore going head-to-head at the bank on Sunday. And again, can't overstate it. With big number 97 having a chance potentially to be out there at nose tackle, means a lot to Zach Orr's defense. He clogs up space. He helps with the interior push. And Big MP has officially been designated to return. He's dealt with a calf injury, which flared up on him in Cleveland. That 21-day practice window is open, as John Harbaugh just mentioned a short while ago, he'll have a chance. Here he is. And there's Rowe as well. This is TV footage courtesy of Xavier Wary. You see his tag on the screen right there. You can follow him on social, but MP moving weight. And again, I'd have to think from a Roquan perspective, they saw what he could do on Monday night in LA, and they thought to themselves, you know what, we feel good about tonight. It's next man up for Malik. Let's give you an extra week to get yourself ready for what we know is going to be an absolute clash. Multiple MVP candidates, multiple Offensive Player of the Year candidates, a rock-solid defense, which we'll get to in Philadelphia, which is coordinated by Vic Fangio. We all remember Vic from his time in Denver. Of course, most recently, his time in Miami. The Ravens have had his number, and you better believe he's going to be looking for revenge come Sunday in that 425 slate. Tonight's episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. And because of the support and belief that Preston has instilled in me, I've been thrilled to partner with them for over a year now on the road with my Bobby Baltimore Bronco, which is a 2023 Ford Bronco Sport. It's a clean, slick design. It's good on gas. It's spacious. You've got heated seats for this time of year. The steering wheel is heated as well. You can start it up before you get in the car. You're making your cup of coffee in the morning. You're getting changed. Start it up if it's cold out. Literally via an app on your iPhone. And it'll be nice and cozy once you get in there a few minutes later. At Preston, Bobby Baltimore subscribers receive 2 exclusive offers. One, $500 towards a new or pre-owned vehicle, or when you buy 4 tires, you'll receive 50% off your alignment. I just had a tremendous experience with Preston as I was preparing to come up north for the holiday. And it's their mobile service feature that they offer. And if you go to PrestonMotor.com, which you can find in the show notes, you can also find as a pinned comment in the live chat. You'll find my unique URL where you can go through a number of different things. There's a site operator if you need questions answered. You can contact them by filling out this form. You can check out and sift through the available inventory section and search by make, model, or keyword. But what I love is mobile service. They offer that. And on Wednesday of last week, I had a mobile service operator come to my house in Canton, service the car, make sure the tire rotation was ready to roll, a full oil change, replaced a bulb in a rear light, and was on his way in like under 30 minutes. It was awesome, and it's one of the many features that Preston Automotive provides its customers, and I've been thrilled to partner with them over the last year or so. So happy Thanksgiving to my Preston family. And, of course, a happy Thanksgiving to all 300 plus of you that are joining me concurrently on Thanksgiving Eve. What's going on? I know my brothers are looking to go out tonight. One of them's in the laundry room right next to me, and I can just tell he's looking for a bender. I just get the sense he's looking for a bender tonight. And all I want, as the 30-year-old, the washed-up veteran in this house, is to throw on the fire in the back. I'm talking about a backyard fire pit night. Light up a cigar. Have an old-fashioned on the side. I wish there was football tonight. We'll have to wait till tomorrow. That's all I want. And I get the sense that those young, mid-20-something Trosset boys are looking to absolutely let it rip. Tori and her boyfriend Francisco get in from Denver within the hour. It's exciting times around here, and I hope you and yours are having a fantastic start to your Thanksgiving. Well, you may have remembered. And actually, let me make sure that I've set this up the right way because Derrick Henry stood on business. So star pass rusher for the Los Angeles Chargers, Khalil Mack, who had a relatively quiet night on Monday Night Football, had some things to say, as you might remember, post-game with reporters about Derrick Henry, the NFL's king rusher. Not necessarily at the moment, statistically speaking, just behind Saquon Barkley, but clearly a future Hall of Famer, somebody who imposes his will and has for years in this league. His resume needs no introduction. Well, Khalil had some things to say post-game. He said, quote, "I don't think it's hard to play against that guy, and hopefully we see this team again. The way I play football, I would love to play this team again. I would love to." By the way, that guy that he's referring to is King Henry. Quote, "It's not hard for me to play against that guy. I love playing against the greats, and this was no different. When I say, quote, hard, I mean in the sense of playing against him. If I'm on the field, I know if he comes to my side, I got him." Remember, Derrick finished with 140 yards on the ground, and he was absolutely a part of the puzzle. Here's more from Mack.
Derrick Henry gets going like that. Obviously, their first touchdown drive, he gets 44 yards rushing. He kind of gets some momentum. Like, how difficult is it to slow him down after he kind of gets rolling like that?
Dang, man, I don't think it's hard to play against that guy. And hopefully we see this team again. That's all I'm kind of thinking about.
What do you mean by that?
Just the way I play football, I would love to play this team again. I would love to. It's, yeah. I love this game, and what we put on film today wasn't good enough. And yeah, you got to be pissed off. There's no other way to think about it. You got to be pissed off and getting ready for the next one.
And you say, I mean, I guess what I'm saying, I mean, you say it's not hard to play against Derrick.
And not for me. It's not hard for me to play against that guy. He's a great player.
It's gonna go viral, right?
I don't.
Right.
No, it's not hard for me to play against that guy. I love playing against the greats, and yeah, this was no different.
It's not hard, but it's still a challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I say hard, I mean in the sense of playing against him. If I'm on the field, I know if he come to my side, I got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, Chargers pass rusher Khalil Mack after the game on Monday night. Khalil finished with 4 tackles, 3 of which were solo, and a quarterback hit. A modest night, a quiet night for his standards. On the flip side, Derrick Henry finished, as I mentioned a minute ago, with 24 carries for 140 yards. He averaged 5.8 per carry and had a long of 27. When he did reach the end zone, it was wiped off the board due to penalty, something the Ravens are all too familiar with, but that's beside the point for the purpose of this conversation. As for King Henry's response, he caught up with reporters within the hour at one winning drive during Wednesday media availability and had this to say when asked about it.
But Khalil Mack kind of had some things to say about wanting to meet up against you.
We won.
Oh, that's standing on business. It was subtle. It was quiet. It was slightly under his breath there at the end out of disgust from the question. Shout out Jamison Hensley for this video. Shout out Cordell Woodland for asking the question. I'll run it back from the top once more.
You had saw, but Khalil Mack kind of had some things to say about wanting to meet up against you.
We won.
And that would be called 2 things, my friends. 1, taking the high road, and 2, standing on business and letting your play do the talking. Quote, I don't care. That shit doesn't matter. We won. That's a dude who has his eyes on the prize. That's a dude who's been around too long to do his talking through the media. He does his talking with his physicality. He does his talking with his relentlessness, with his grit, with his vicious stiff arming, including multiple stiff arms on one specific run on Monday night. If you're not a Derrick Henry fan after that, I don't know how you can't be. I got nothing for you. The King has brought this certain sense of sophistication, business-like, workman-like, blue-collar attitude to Baltimore, and he's been a great fit through almost 1 year of a 2-year contract that he signed in the offseason on day 2 of free agency. 2 years, $16 million. Number 22 certainly stood on business there in response to Khalil Mack's comments from earlier in the week. As for his running mate, Lamar Jackson, MV3, the front runner, depending on who you talk to. I know some of the betting odds that Sarah and I discussed earlier today now favor Josh Allen for that NFL MVP award, but we know that's not going to be decided until next month. But Lamar's press conference today included several things that I found to be interesting takeaways, one of which was about the King, his teammate Derrick Henry.
Production. Has that taken, do you feel, any pressure off of you in what you have to do as far as helping out the offense?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't got to run the ball all the time, not like years in the past. So definitely, man, definitely does.
Do you hear that? I don't believe he's actually yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe Lamar's actually admitted that Derrick Henry, and let me just throw that back once more.
With Derrick Henry's production, has that taken, do you feel, any pressure off of you in what you have to do as far as helping out the offense?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't got to run the ball all the time, not like years in the past. So definitely, man, definitely does.
I don't got to run the ball all the time. like years in the past. If that's not a thing of beauty for Lamar Jackson, I don't know what is. And they got a dog that's handling those duties. Not to say that Lamar isn't still a part of that puzzle and a piece for Todd Monken. But finally, for the first time in his career, there's less of a weight on his shoulders. The King is a top 2 rusher right now. Saquon Barkley overtook him within the last week after a monster Week 12. He now leads the way entering Week 13 with 1,392 rushing yards. Derrick Henry has 1,325, and then there's a drop-off 3 through 5. Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Chuba Hubbard. And so while Derrick has been the beneficiary of taking some off of Lamar's plate, Lamar himself, of course, is cashing in on this as well, and Derrick's presence being there. And he's doing it through the air. Entering Week 13, he is your leading passing yards quarterback with 3,053. Geno Smith just below him. Joe Burrow comes in at third. All 3 players have over 3,000 passing yards. C.J. Stroud and Kirk Cousins round out the top 5. And I tell you what this team and what their head coach instilled in them on Monday night was nothing short of galvanizing. And I think that's exactly what John Harbaugh did by empowering his players and deciding to go for it on 4th down and 1 from their own 16 late in the second quarter. That's something that Lamar Jackson was asked about, not just specifically about that play itself, but 4th down in general. And the kind of belief that, again, John Harbaugh has in his players.
To you, the 3 4th down conversions, just for John to have that faith in you guys to get the yard when you needed it, and kind of over the years, just kind of how is that, I guess, the relationship evolved with you and John? I think there was the video in Seattle where he's like asking you if you want to go for it.
Yeah.
To now, you guys just, it's almost like, just how does that evolve?
Yeah, I believe after 2019, it was just there. Coach had all the faith in not just me, but the offensive side of the ball. Just to go for 4th down conversions. He's been doing that for quite some time now. I'm just used to it.
Did he ask you on this at the 16-yard line? Were you surprised? What was your reaction when you realized you were going?
Yeah, he did ask me because I believe it was a timeout or something. I went to the sideline. He was like, "Want to go for it?" And we was just talking about what play we want to run. He was like, "It's only a half yard." I'm like, "Yeah, we can do it, but I don't know what play we're gonna call, But it was successful.
I don't think it's hyperbolic to look at that specific moment and view it as galvanizing, view it as significant from this point forward in what the head coach feels like it has and is willing to do, but also from a player perspective, the momentum building moment that may very well be. Do we look back on that moment, and not just that moment itself, but the entire concept of 4th down decision making under the primetime lights with the football world watching on Monday night? Do we look back at that in 2 months and circle it and say to ourselves, that was a moment. That was a defining moment for the 2024-2025 Baltimore Ravens? I use the word galvanize in a way of 8-4 is 8-4 through 12 weeks. You're a half game out of Pittsburgh. You're in great position to potentially go after this division. And obviously, you're squarely in the AFC playoff picture. But I guess what I'm getting at here is the Ravens have been vastly underperforming given the expectations in all 3 phases coming in. They're undisciplined. They're inconsistent offensively off the jump in recent weeks, particularly first quarters. And we know that the defense has underwent significant change over the course of this season. And now finally you feel like there's some stability on the back end given the defensive personnel adjustments waiving Eddie Jackson, benching Marcus Williams. You feel like there's an opportunity to build off of this right now. And so with all of that in mind, and feeling as if they certainly have not peaked too early, can that kind of moment galvanize a group down the second half stretch and put them in a position where come January, they're healthy, they're confident, they're clicking on all cylinders, and they've avenged some of the early season woes in all three phases, Justin Tucker included, back end secondary-wise, pass defense, penalties, discipline-wise, slow starts, things of that nature. We know that this team is more than capable of looking at a double-digit deficit in the face and scoffing at it and moving forward from there. It's become a comfort zone for them, which is hard to believe because it's not all that long ago, and I'm certainly old enough to remember that was once their kryptonite, double-digit deficits. From here on out, we'll see what that moment on Monday in Los Angeles means. It may be insignificant, but it's something that I think is measurable when it comes to these Ravens. What's certainly measurable is the year that Zay Flowers is having, and he stood 10 toes down for his quarterback on a recent podcast appearance with Kevin Clark of ESPN on Omaha Productions. The show is called This is Football. And he talked about and made his case for why Lamar is not only this year's MVP, but the best football player in the sport, hands down.
Patrick Mahomes can do everything too, but this man literally his first year, he took a team that was not winning to the playoffs. Like, I think the team was 4-7 or 4-8. Took them to the playoffs, became the youngest MVP the next year after that. And after that, he just I don't think he have a losing season. Like, the other side can't beat him, the NFC can't beat him. I mean, you got to play him more than one time if you want to really know who he is. To beat him, you got to play him more than one time. Like, this man, week in and week out, he gonna make the best plays in the NFL, and that's just who he is. Like, I don't think he have a level. I don't think he have a ceiling. Like, every week he do something or say, "Damn, I didn't know he could do that." Like, they just show you how he get better and better each week. He do something. He show you something like that lets you know like he the best in the league. Like, it's really hard to stop him. You got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on both sides trying to sack him, and he's just still forming him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not normal, bro. It's not normal. Like, we ain't got the ring yet to prove it, but we gonna go get on one, and then we can start making everybody will start believing us.
Zay Flowers on Lamar. Quote, I don't think he has a ceiling. We ain't got the ring yet to prove it, but we gonna get him one, and then everybody will start believing us. The South Florida connection is real. The Lamar-Zay connection is real. And what Zay Flowers is doing in his sophomore season is certainly real. He is a top 5 receiving yards leader through 12 weeks with 789 to be exact. Jamar Chase well out in front with over 1,000. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Terry McLaurin round out the top 4. And again, Zay sitting comfortably inside the top 5 and could potentially become the first drafted Ravens wide receiver to earn a Pro Bowl nod. It has been a long time coming, and he is certainly one of the beneficiaries to this Lamar Jackson passing attack. And to go back to the top, Derrick Henry's presence. They are a run-first offense until the cows come home. But that does not mean that Lamar can't throw it with the best of them and throw it with the best of them to win. He and Rashad Bateman, meaning Zay and Rashad Bateman, are great complements to one another. And that Bateman extension that Eric DeCosta got out in front of, declined the 5th-year option, kept Rashad for a 2-year extension, which I believe keeps him in Baltimore through the 2026 season, if I'm not mistaken. That's aging like fine wine through a 12-game sample size so far this year with 5 touchdowns for Rashad and projected to finish with over 800 yards receiving through the air. As for the Philadelphia side, Vic Fangio is the Eagles' defensive coordinator, and through Week 12, his group ranks first league-wide on defense Tennessee, Denver, Kansas City, and Houston round out that top 5. We're going to hear a lot about the offense, deservedly so. But Vic Fangio's group, make no mistake about it, there's a bunch of dogs over there. And again, they are the top-ranked overall defense that Lamar Jackson's top-ranked overall offense is going to try and go after and pick apart come Sunday. In terms of injury designations, from a Philadelphia perspective, the Eagles just placed their injury report out there, so let's go to it right now and check it out impromptu. Let's see. Darius Slay and Devonta Smith, key pieces to each side of the ball. Slay, part of the secondary. Devonta is part of Jalen Hurts' passing attack. Smith is dealing with a hamstring. He did not practice today. Darius Slay is in concussion protocol. He did not practice. Keely Ringo as well did not practice. The rest of the group that you see on here, Saquon, Landon Dickerson, Mekhi Becton, several other pieces to their puzzles, all missed practice with rest. So no problem there. But the Darius and the Devontae, is it Devontae or Devonta? I got to figure this out. I should know this because I've watched a lot of him. Let's figure it out real quick.
Devonta Smith.
Devonta. I think it's Devon. I don't know. What chat? What is it? Is it Devontae or Devonta? Did I have it right the first time? Maybe it's Devontae. I don't know. Regardless, we're gonna have to watch this closely. Slay and Smith would be big absences, but it's only Wednesday and this game's not being played till Sunday, obviously. Devontae. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate you. So something to watch from a Philadelphia perspective going into Sunday. If I'm an Eagles fan, one thing I'm watching is tape of how Lamar has continued to dominate the NFC. He is 23-1. Daniel Jones' New York Giants are the only team to have beat Lamar from that conference. And Lamar gave a hilarious answer, I thought, earlier today to the NFC question.
You don't love the stat questions, but 23-1 against the NFC is a remarkable number that gets brought up. I mean, do you have any reason why you think you guys have been so good in those matchups?
Probably because we're not familiar with each other. You know, I say that. I'm just going to give you that because I really got something else on my mind, you know, really, but I'm going to give you that.
But you're not familiar with them either.
Yeah. Yeah.
AKA, we don't have to be familiar with them. If they're not familiar with us, look out. That was a hilarious answer. And he typically, as you heard there from Childs Walker, who's a writer for the Baltimore Sun, he typically doesn't entertain the NFC or any statistics-related question. I think he's a little superstitious. But he entertained it there, and while doing so, made it very clear. Yeah, they don't need to be familiar with us. But if you're unfamiliar with us as the opponent and you're part of the NFC, yeah, good luck. Good luck to the Ravens rushing defense facing this guy, the NFL's leading rusher, as I mentioned earlier on in the stream. That is Saquon Barkley, who is a legitimate MVP candidate at running back and in year one with the Eagles, having spent the beginning of his career in no man's land, a.k.a. the New York Giants. Philadelphia is the third overall total offense. They're the first-ranked rushing offense. Not as much balance as the Ravens overall. They dropped to 25th in terms of passing offense. But again, does it really matter, these rankings, when you've ripped off 7 straight wins, you're 9-2, and you're comfortably ripping off wins? They're the 7th-ranked scoring offense. They're 7th-ranked also on third down, and 16th middle of the pack in terms of red zone offense. On the Ravens side of things, first in total offense, as I mentioned, second in rushing offense, third in the pass, just so incredibly balanced. Second in scoring, third in third down, and 6th in fourth down. And I should also mention this too, because this is important. The Ravens' red zone offense is also first league-wide. Yeah, Todd Monken's going to get some looks here. I know you hate to mention that, but we're only a couple months out from the hiring cycle being in full swing, and this is ridiculous rankings with December football being literally right around the corner. Todd Monken's group is historic. And I saw a statistic on Monday night. At one point Monday night, the ESPN graphic that was up on the screen with the Ravens were averaging team-wide, league-wide offensively over 7 yards per play. That would be historic. No team's ever done that. And they're doing it as the most undisciplined team in the league among all three phases from a penalty standpoint. They don't play clean football, and yet the offense is still ranking upper echelon in just about every category. They are 32nd in penalties. They have committed 101 through 12 games. They are 32nd in penalty yards negated with 865. And yet, they overcome their self-inflicted wounds time and time again. That's not sustainable, I'll tell you that, come January. But for right now, it is. And they got time to figure it out, but not a ton of time. The Ravens injury report. It's funny. Apparently, I thought 4 o'clock was when these teams were supposed to submit their injury reports. Maybe that's a soft deadline. But anyway, here's the Ravens. Let's go back to the screen share feature. We know that Devontae Smith and Darius Slay were down today for Philadelphia, 2 key pieces to each side of their ball. As for the Ravens, Travis Jones, as he has been for weeks now, was limited with an ankle. He did play, by the way. Josh Tupou came in as well. He was a practice squad elevation to help out Travis and give him a breather here and there because that ankle, boy, it's just been bothering him for a long time, like since the Cleveland game. Sanusi Kane was limited with an ankle. Charlie Kohler broke his arm, so he'll be down for the next month at least. Arthur Maulet continues to miss time with that calf/knee. Michael Pierce did return. Like I mentioned, he was designated for a return. So his 21-day practice window is open. That would mean a lot to the Ravens' rushing defense come Sunday. Roquan was limited as expected with that hamstring. And Kyle Van Noy popped up on this list for the first time as a DNP with a hamstring/neck designation. For Kyle, rest days often come for him on Wednesdays, but there's an actual injury designation on that. Hopefully he'll be all right. He's closing in on back-to-back seasons with 9 sacks, which would be a career high. He's one off of that, 8 in 12 games, and still playing some solid football on the other side of 30 for the Ravens. Well, we all know that all eyes come Sunday are going to be on this duo. They won't be facing each other directly. But I'm telling you what, I cannot wait to see Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley do what they do best for their respective teams. These are 2 dudes who were both signed in free agency. Saquon was day 1. Derrick was day 2. And after all the questions about the running back market, the running back position, it being devalued, this, that, and the other. Sounds like these 2 are on a 2-game wrecking ball crew where they're out to prove that this running back position, no more devaluing it. We have tremendous value, they're saying. And everybody better believe it if this keeps up. The most rushing touchdowns in 2024, owned by Derrick Henry. Up until Monday night, he rushed for at least 1 and scored at least 1 in every single game. He did technically score 1 Monday night, but as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, it was wiped off the board due to penalties. Jalen Hurts, by the way, is second on that list in terms of rushing touchdowns with 11. The most total touchdowns, Derrick with 15 leads the league. Saquon with 12 is tied for second with Jamar Chase. There's talent all over the field between Philadelphia and Baltimore. Look at this list. It's coming down between Saquon and Derrick. And I thought Evan, by the way, earlier on, Evan Burstein, during our lunch hour live stream, made a good point. Saquon is actually more ahead of the pack than you would think because Philadelphia's already had its bye week. The Ravens will have their bye week next week. And selfishly, I'm excited about it. I'm going to Sweden and Norway, and I'm friggin' fired up. Leaving on Monday, coming back the following Monday. Sarah will be solo all throughout the bye week. If you have Sweden or Norway or Stockholm or Oslo specific recommendations, please hit me up on social media. Would love to hear from you. But that's what's coming up next week. And Evan's in the house. That's right, Evan. I remember your super chats. How about Justin Holt dropping in 3 super chat donations today for our homage t-shirt giveaway? And then right before we actually randomly selected it through our system, his last super chat was like, can't wait to win this shirt. And then the random process picked him. I was like, all right, this dude's about to have himself a holiday. Just in case you missed it, Charlie Kolar is going to be down, Ravens tight end 3, for at least the next 4 weeks after breaking his arm in Monday night's win. He suffered the injury early in the fourth quarter, then finished the game before getting x-rays. So he's just tough as nails. If that doesn't tell you what number 88 stands for and what he's all about as a football player, I don't know what does. But I like Charlie a lot. He does a lot of unsung, nitty-gritty type things in the trenches, blocking, special teams. Charlie Kolar is one of those glue guys for you. In any other room, any other tight end room across the league, aside from like Kansas City and a couple others, he's going to be a key piece. But not on this team. Not with Mark Andrews coming on. Not with Isaiah Likely continuing to be at least the threat. I know he's had a quiet season, but Mark Andrews starting to stack some games here for the last month plus. I see a couple super chats have come in. Brandon Humble wrote, Khalil Mack don't want that smoke, referring to earlier on and that specific piece of video that he had to share after the game. I saw Tila was asking, was that before or after the game? It was before. Maybe I'll actually revisit that in just a second here, just in case you guys are just popping on. Tank Bromansky writes, when does the AFC North Hard Knocks come out? I believe that's the first week of December, somewhere in there. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but I believe it's within the first 10 days of December. If you are just tuning in, Khalil Mack had this to say post-game about going up against Derrick Henry, who, by the way, finished with 140 yards on 24 carries and averaged almost 6 yards per carry.
Derrick Henry gets going like that. Obviously, the first touchdown drive, he gets 44 yards rushing. He kind of gets some momentum.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult is it to slow him down after he kind of gets rolling like that?
Dang, man, I don't think it's hard to play against that guy. And hopefully we see this team again. That's all I'm kind of thinking about.
What do you mean by that?
Just the way I play football, I would love to play this team again. I would love to. It's I love this game, and what we put on film today wasn't good enough. And you gotta be pissed off. There's no other way to think about it. You gotta be pissed off and getting ready for the next one.
And you say, I guess what I'm saying, you say it's not hard to play against Derrick.
Nah, not for me. It's not hard for me to play against that guy. He's a great player. It's not hard for me to play against that guy. I love playing against the greats, and this was no different.
It's not hard, but it's still a challenge.
Absolutely. When I say hard, I mean in the sense of playing against him. If I'm on the field, I know if he come to my side, I got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Derrick's response today when asked by reporters, I don't care. That shit doesn't matter. We won. If that's not standing on business while also taking the high road, if that's possible, I don't know what is.
But Khalil Mack kind of had some things to say about wanting to meet up against you.
We won.
Video courtesy of Jamison Hensley. Wow. Yeah. That's a dude who probably wants to get home to maybe celebrate Thanksgiving quickly. And that's a dude that probably is telling the truth. He doesn't give a shit. They won. They're on to Philadelphia. And that's what we have to look forward to come Sunday at the bank. Join me for the Be More Around Town pregame tailgate for those of you who are in the Baltimore area. At 801 West Austin Street is where I'll be. It's on the Fed side of M&T Bank Stadium. It's a 4:25 kickoff, so I'll probably be there 2:30-ish, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there, and go for about an hour and a half. I would love for you to join me. BeMoreAroundTown.com is where you can get your tickets. Like this video if you enjoyed tonight's live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. You can find me on Twitter or X at Bobby Baltimore. You can find me on Instagram, as always, at Bobby Baltimore. You could join the Bobby Baltimore Patreon community by visiting the show notes below. You can show some love to the channel and donate via Venmo or Cash App or the YouTube Super Chat feature. Sarah and I gave our thanks and what we were grateful for at the end of today's live stream on the vault side of things, so I'll let those comments speak for themselves, but I will tell you this. I just hope that you guys have a fantastic, safe, and healthy next 24 plus hours. Perhaps you're traveling, perhaps you're in the air, perhaps you are cooking, perhaps you are hosting, whatever you're doing. I hope you have a awesome next 72 plus hours, a long weekend. I will be live streaming, by the way, on Friday at noon. Tomorrow, I don't have any plans to, just because we have a ton of family coming in and we're just going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. But Sarah and I do have a episode dropping, a pre-taped episode dropping at 12 noon Eastern tomorrow. That's Thursday, the 28th, Thanksgiving Day. And then I will be solo on Friday on the Vault. I'll be joined by Dave Zangaro of NBC Sports Philadelphia for our official game preview episode. So I look forward to seeing and hearing from you guys then, if not before. We'll see. If something crazy goes on tomorrow and I got several old fashions in me and like a shit ton of turkey, I will still go live, and I'll probably sound terrible and look terrible. But that's what I'm committed to, and I'll certainly do that if that ends up being the case. So have an awesome night, guys. Enjoy yourselves. I appreciate you. Evan, you already know I got that blue collar personality. I may not look blue collar. I may not act like blue collar on the channel, but I'm telling you, it's built within me. I used to literally for like 7 or 8 years growing up. By the way, for those of you who didn't see the comment, Evan's commenting on my Carhartt crew neck or whatever this is, Henley. Like I literally put myself through school and abroad semester solely based on Pat and Bob's lawn care. Give us a call. We do it all. Like I was literally a landscaper all throughout high school, all throughout college. Was it after college? No, I finished up probably like senior year of college. It was the best thing I ever did. And that's why like getting back to this self-employed state has unlocked the entrepreneurial spirit that I've always had within me. And the last 2.5 years, it's been so much freaking fun solely based on like the entrepreneurial opportunity that I've now kind of walked back into and revisited. So anyway, just a very random tangent that I just gave you. But Pat and Bob's Lawn Care, give us a call. We do it all is a legitimate slogan that me and my buddy Pat used to run by here. And I friggin' loved it. So anyway, cheers to that. Cheers to all of you guys. I hope you enjoy yourselves. I'm about to go start a fire, pick up the bib. We're running a 5K as a family tomorrow. Turkey trot here in upstate New York in the Albany area. So looking forward to it. And who knows what those younger Trosset boys are going to be getting into for Thanksgiving Eve. I'm getting the sense that they're going to show up hung. They are going to show up hung tomorrow, hung over as shit for this 5K. And I'm going to be that 30-year-old washed up old G, right? Like ready to go. Like I want to finish this thing in like, I don't know. Can we do it in under 20 minutes? My sister can. She's a marathoner. I don't want to actually, I don't want to finish it in under 20 minutes. That sounds horrific. Yeah, Justin, I went to Loyola. I graduated in 2017 from Loyola U. So anyway, Chef and Manny and Jewel, I know all you guys wanted in on potential guest calls, but I'm staring at a busy night and Mom's upstairs cooking, and I feel like I got to get my ass up there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy yourselves tonight. Be safe. Be happy. Be merry. Be thankful. Have gratitude, all that good stuff. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content, and be well. I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you as always.